Hey, well, I'm back again with another toy dinosaur video. In this one, we're going to look at what is generally considered to be the ultimate dinosaur playset put out by Marx. This is the Marx Prehistoric Times, number 3398 from 1963. Now, they did like a reworking of this set for 1971. But this set that came out in 1963, it marked the end of the regular Marx Dinosaur Playsets in the old type plastic with the lead paint added in for color pigment and the flat matte finish that shows off the details so well in the figures. So this is generally considered to be one of, if not the most highly desired Marx Dinosaur Playsets. Now this box is rough. This is the original box. These are so hard to get. You know, as far as the older Marx Playsets, you see a lot of the long box sets like the 3390 come up. You see a lot of the square box sets like the 3388 and the unnumbered and the 3394. You see those on eBay. And they generally sell for quite a bit now, even though, you know, they come up quite frequently. But this set is so hard to get, and especially the box. This box, it's got a nickname of the time tunnel box because of the concentric circles that emanate from behind the illustration of the Sleek T-Rex there, and Magic Marxie, of course. And you know, that's like the nickname that collectors have given this box, the time tunnel box, for that reason. And it says 230 million years, you know, and then it gives some of the set contents there. And it's also got a booklet that is unique to this set. It was never in any other sets. Now, they did a revised version of the booklet for the 71 set, but those 1971 versions of this playset are very different and they're very plentiful. You see those turn up on eBay a lot, and they still sell for a lot. But this particular set hardly ever comes up at all, and it's nearly impossible to find an original box in any condition. I bought my original contents of this set all from one seller several years ago. It was probably around 2008 or 2009, and I gave $100 for it. And I mean, it was just a screaming deal even back then for that, because the seller that I bought it from had everything except for the box. He had the original booklet, all the dinos, the original dinos in excellent condition, all 36 of them, the three-piece terrain, the trees. I didn't have to replace any of that stuff. He even had 2 of the 4 clips that you use on the terrain pieces, which are unnecessary, but they're part of the set. So being a collector, you want them if you can get them. And I was elated to be able to get all of that stuff at once for $100 back then. And later I found a partial set with this box, and I bought it just for the box mainly. I mean, I didn't need any of the pieces. I, you know, put them in my stock, my the extra pieces that I use to fill out new play sets when, you know, I get a partial set, because you almost never find these things complete. You've always got to find out what goes in them, and then you've got to, you know, add it yourself, usually through eBay lot purchases, which can run into some money and you end up with a lot of extra stuff. But that's just the road you have to travel when you try to collect these play sets. Anyway, let's look at this box. Like I said, this is rough, but having an original box for this set in any condition is a big deal. The front of it is dirty, and you know, you can tell it's been in the light a lot because it's yellowed and all that. And somebody tore off the front flap, which is a shame. But you know, I'm just glad I've got one in this condition. They are so hard to find in any condition. Here's the end of it, and it's got a little price sticker there from a place called Toy Castle. And it's faded out, but it says $4.96. And this was on sale back in 1963, and probably for a couple of years after that. I don't think they sold them for too long, because after Marx came out with this set, they stopped making dinosaur playsets for like 8 years. And when they came back with them, they had that new plastic that real serious Marx collectors aren't too crazy about, that don't show the details good. But this is the last of the really good ones, and it's generally considered to be, like I said, the ultimate one, because it's got the second series dinosaurs, and it's the only set to offer 10 dinos in a playset. And it's with a medium mold group, and I'll show you that. I have those. I have the complete set. I'm missing 2 of the clips. That's all I'm missing. And I don't consider that much of a deal at all, because you don't even use the clips when you set them up. I mean, it just sets on. The 3-piece terrain just sets on each other, and you know, you don't even need the clips, but Marx gave you 4. You only need 2 of them if you use the clips, and that's, you know, a couple of extra there. Here's the back. That's where they put the instructions. So here's a picture of the clip, and shows where it goes. The 2 clips go to connect the terrain. And the ferns and palm trees. Not much assembly instructions necessary at all. But Marx, you know, were thorough, so they added that in. Instead of putting it on a separate sheet like the 1971 version of this set, they just put it on the back of the box. And that makes it probably another reason why it's harder to find these boxes. Maybe some people cut that bottom part out so they'd have the instructions. I don't know. But these things just never turn up. You never see the boxes in any condition. And I'm so glad just to have this. I mean, for people that are new to this or don't collect this stuff, they might look at this and say, what a piece of crap, you know, it's falling apart, it's got water stains, it's dirty, it's got pieces torn out. Look, this thing, to a real Marx collector, this thing's like gold, man. Seriously. Okay, now, you've seen the original box. And here is the box that I actually keep the pieces in. In my closet, I keep the pieces in this box, and then I set the original box on top of this, because even the weight of the pieces, as light as they are, I don't want any kind of weight in that original box to take a chance on putting more stress on that thing, as old and feeble as it is already. So I bought this new box at the UPS store. Nice little box, you know, you can use for play sets. Back when I bought this set, back, you know, like 15 years ago or whatever. And I found the best picture I could of the box on the internet, the original box. And it's in better condition than my original box, but I mean, look, this is the best picture I could find of this thing. It's got a tear here. It's got holes where somebody stuck a pencil through the front of it. To find a box, you know, an original box for this set, even in mid-grade with light wear, is just virtually impossible. I don't know what they would actually sell for, but even a beat up box should be worth quite a bit of money in today's collecting environment. But anyway, here's the box I keep the set in. I just wanted to show that. I mean, it's just a regular empty box. I didn't draw on it or anything like I do on some of those custom playset boxes. I just put the picture of the original box on there to identify it. Okay, I've set out all the components here. I'll go over those, but first the booklet. This playset is the only way you could get this version of the booklet, new enlarged edition. And this is the 20-page edition that has the, you know, they always have this centerfold that shows like the timeline. And I've shown these booklets before as well as these other components in other of my videos, but to be thorough, we'll go over it. Gives a overview of each type of dinosaur or prehistoric animal. Tells some things about it. And this is the only playset, or the first playset, to offer the second series animals, and I'll go over those. But it's also the only playset to ever offer tan as a color for their dinosaurs. And it's the last playset made in the 60s. And there's Magic Marxie on the back, and it's P1311 is the number of the booklet. And you know, it's got a little wear. It's got a couple of water spots. Very small amount of rust on the staples, but very little, if any, migration really to the paper. It's been exactly like that ever since I got it 15 years ago. So, you know, as long as I keep it dry, I don't think it's going to get any worse. And it's just a nice mid-grade example of the booklet, which are very hard to find now because the only way you could get this version of the booklet is to buy this playset, and these playsets are tough. These don't turn up like those long box sets and the square box sets. They just don't. And we'll go over the components real quick. The terrain. Now, this version of the three-piece terrain was marbled with black striations in the brown plastic. When they came out with this set again in 1971, they had this three-piece terrain formation, but it was just, you know, solid brown, just bland, like the dinosaurs in the 71 set and all through the 70s. No premium pieces, no marbling, waxy plastic that really didn't show off the details all that great, like this older plastic does. And there you can see the marbling. And these are really nice shape too. I don't think this set was ever played with. There's no breaks or wear where the slots go. Sometimes you see that on these when they turn up for sale. It's just in really nice condition. I don't think it was ever used. Or if it was used very carefully. And here are the clips still attached to the sprue, as collectors call it. It's actually called a tree by people that made this stuff. They call those pieces of plastic that hold the other pieces together trees, but collectors call them sprues. And it's more convenient because you don't get it confused with the actual trees that are in the set. So I generally try to call them sprues as well. And here are the palm trees, standard palm tree set. Large single trunk palm tree in the brown or dark tan. It's really brown, they call it dark tan. Here's the double trunk palm tree. We have two of the smaller double trunk trees. These were all part of a mold group. You see this same pattern repeated in all of Marx Playsets pretty much, the prehistoric sets and some of the others. Here are the fern bases. You get 4 of these with a hole there that you can stick the fern down in. Here are the ferns. You get 2 3-leaf ferns and 2 4-leaf ferns, and there's the little post on the fern that goes into the hole. And then you get this mold group of palm fronds or leaves. Here's the large one. And then you got 3 medium-sized ones and 3 small ones, because in all there are 7 trunks on those palm trees. Here's a look at one type of the small, and then they always have this one that's like layered. It's got the extra layer of leaves there on that little small one. Okay, let's look at the cavemen. It's got 2 sets of the cavemen, one in tan and one in cream. They call this yellowish color cream. And here is the, let me, okay, I had to get this paper here so that you can see the details on these cavemen. And the camera really takes its time focusing on this stuff, even though I've got the background blocked off. It's ordinarily, I mean, you know, that's not a big deal for it to take several seconds to focus, but when you're trying to shoot a video, it's kind of annoying. Anyway, these cavemen are in great shape. Like I said, I don't think this set was ever used. And I sure wish it had come with the original box instead of me having to buy one later, because the box was probably in great condition. I guess the people that originally bought it just threw it away. That's what most people did back then. I mean, if you'd have said to somebody back then in the 60s or 70s that decades later people would be collecting this stuff and would pay a lot of money for the packaging, they'd have laughed in your face. They thought it was just trash, you know, to be discarded after they thought the toy inside was the only thing of any value. Here's the short guy with the spear. It'll eventually focus. It's a good camera. I mean, I don't know why you have to jump through hoops to get it to focus without taking forever, but I don't know, maybe they're all that way. Here's the crouching guy with the rocks. Guess he's making a tool or a weapon or whatever. Anyway, those are great. I'm not going to show the cream ones because they're the same. It's just each set of cavemen are those 6 poses, and you get 2 sets of them, one in tan and one in cream. Now, we'll look at the dinosaur mold groups. The back is the revised mold group. It's PL 977 is the Marx designation for that. And it comes with these 8 dinos, and this is the light gray color. Here's probably the most popular figure of the bunch, the Sleek or Skinny T-Rex. It's a newer version of the old Potbelly T-Rex that came in the large mold group, which is not included in this set. So you don't get a Chronosaurus in this. That's the only knock against this set. There's no Chronosaurus. Of course, I have plenty of Marx Chronosaurus, but there's no point in pulling those out for this because it didn't come in the set. Here's the Trachodon. Revised Trachodon. Stands up a lot better than the medium mold group Trachodon. Here's the Allosaurus. You know, this old plastic, it really showed off the details well. That newer shiny plastic just, it didn't show the details that well. And the molds, I guess, were getting older at that point and had a lot of wear. So the older dinosaurs in this matte finish plastic with the lead paint for color pigment, I believe, are probably preferable to most people that collect this stuff. You know, so some people that grew up in the 70s that only had the shinier, waxy looking plastic Marx Dinosaurs, they might prefer that because they grew up with it, and that's fine, you know, if that's what turns them on, you know, that's cool. Here's the Stegosaurus. But I prefer the older stuff myself. I only had one Marx playset originally, a square box set. My parents bought me in 1964. Mostly I had MPC dinosaurs when I was a kid. And by the 70s, I was into other things. I mean, I had kind of outgrown that stage where most kids are into toy dinosaurs and stuff. Sadly, I wish I'd have bought all this stuff in the 70s. I went back and got a lot of it, but some of that stuff's pretty expensive. Okay, that's all 8 of the revised mold group. Now the second series mold group, this is the mold group that was first available in this playset. I mean, it was also available on blister cards, but this is the first playset where you could actually get the second series animals. These are in the red-brown. There are 8 of them, and it's a PL1083 is the Marx designation for this. Here's the woolly mammoth. And these are just in excellent condition, no scuffing, no breaks. I don't think they were ever used. Here's the Megatherium, or giant ground sloth. Now on the blister cards, you could find these second series animals in tan. This group and the medium mold group in this playset are the only ways you could get them in tan. And for the second series ones, you had to buy the blister cards to get them, and only 2 per card were in the tan. They were mixed colors. Parasaurolophus, Struthiomimus. I did a video on, I've got a carded set of the second series Marx Prehistoric Animals. I did a video on that if you want to check it out. All this stuff's going into the playlist for Dinosaur Playsets, so if you're into this stuff, you might want to look at it. This is Moss Chops. Smilodon, or saber-toothed tiger, as we used to call them back in the day. Now they call them saber-toothed cats, because it's not really a tiger, but back when I was a kid, we called them saber-toothed tiger. Here is Styracosaurus. I mean, the sculpting on this, you can really see the fine details and appreciate the sculpts with these older figures in this matte finished plastic. Okay, this is like really the premium mold group for this set. This is in tan, all 6 of these medium mold group dinos. Medium mold group was PL750, I think. Now this is the Trachodon in the tan. 6 of them in this mold group. Here's the Hadrosaurus. Another duckbill. Just these single dinosaurs in the tan from this playset command a premium. It's hard to come up with a fair market value for these things because it's not like comics where you have so many traded. You know, this stuff's popular, a lot more popular than I thought when I first started making these videos, but there's no price guide for it or anything like that. But it's generally understood among sellers and in the collector market that certain things are worth a certain amount. So, I mean, you would probably be expected to pay 20 bucks a piece for these if you found them, whereas regular Marx figures might be $3 or $4 a piece, if that, you know. Now, to get a color matching mold group the way these are, that would be expensive because it's hard to match color on a lot of this, especially these hard to find ones, like these tan medium mold group figures. This is a Pteranodon. I mean, it's so hard to, this color matching mold group right here, I don't know what something like that, you'd have to pay for that. Anyway, we've got two shots of the small mole group, PL755. There are 7 each in the groups, and these are all color matching. I bought all of these from that one guy, so I have no doubt these are the original dinos that came with it, because he was just an individual. He was not a dinosaur collector, so it's just stuff that probably he had left from his childhood, or he had bought from someone who had from their childhood that didn't use it much. And it all fits with the information that I could find on this stuff, so I'm certain that these are the original dinos that came in the set. Okay, we'll look at the sculpts real quick on these. Now, there are 7 in each one of these small mole groups, one in the gray and one in the green, so for a total of 14, and you get doubles on a couple of these. You get 2 of the Plesiosaurus and 2 of the Dimetrodons. Here's the Plesiosaurus. As the camera takes its sweet time. It's a Logitech camera. I don't know. I don't know why it takes so long to focus. Maybe that's standard. I don't know. When you're making a video, you get impatient with it. I'm sure when you're watching one, you get impatient with it too, but doing the best I can here. Here's the Dimetrodon. And of course the other Dimetrodon, just like it. I'm no point in showing that. Here's the Triceratops. Now the small mole group Triceratops, they had the thick horns. You can tell the difference between that and these thin ones on the revised mole group. They have the thinner horns. I don't know why they thought that was better when they revised that. I don't even know why they revised it. They just stuck it in that mole group. I guess because they already had the sculpt for it and it was easier for them. Maybe they saved a little plastic by making the horns thinner. I don't know. Here's the Sphenacodon. Here's another. Yeah, he's kind of a favorite because he's looks more like one of the movie monsters that came out back then. Here's the Cynognathus. Little dog face looking dude. Okay, so that covers the sculpts. Now I'm going to pause the video again and set all this up. Okay, got everything set up. On this channel, I like to set them up the way a kid might try to set them up. I always loved to set them up when I was a kid, and I still like to do that, even though I can't really play anymore without game rules or something. But hey, man, that's what play sets are for, you know. Set them up, look at them, go over them, collect them, go through all the expensive, time-consuming effort to try to complete them, which is a lot harder now than it was when I was doing this back 15 or 20 years ago, you know, trying to complete these sets. But anyway, we're going to take Pteranodon's eye view of this setup, of this play set, as it takes off from the cliff, and we will check out what's going on. There's some creatures trying to eat some palm fronds there, and a Sphenacodon and Dimetrodon's kind of hanging out. And here we have the Triceratops and the Styracosaurus, all the rammers. Looks like they're trying to get surprise attacks on those Allosaurus, who are actually after the T-Rex, strangely enough. And the T-Rex is after the 2 Trachodons who are peeling out, and he's kind of running them into these poor schmucks over here, these 10 cavemen that are coming up on this really crowded scene. You'd never see anything like this in prehistoric times in real life. I mean, everything was real spread out, but you know, it's a play set. They gave you 36 dinosaurs, and by golly, I'm using them for this anyway. Okay, here's some more around the periphery here. Some of those cool looking tan guys. There's those poor unfortunate cavemen who might have come over here to either trade with the cream color caveman tribe or maybe attack them. Who knows? But I don't think they're going to get too far because they ran into a meat grinder. And there's a Smilodon trying to sneak up on a couple of them there. Brontosaurus just wondering what the heck it's doing in this mess. There's that tan Hadrosaurus. There was no Chronosaurus in this set, so he gets the pool. One of the duckbills get the pool. And it's the cool tan Hadrosaurus, and there's a couple of Cynognathus there who were basking on that edge of the water there, and they're thinking about running because of all this other crap going on. There's a Dimetrodon up there high. He feels pretty safe. Pteranodon perched up there. He feels kind of safe for now. And the yellow cavemen, the cream cavemen, are just trying to deal with all this incursion into their personal space, you know, what they've claimed as theirs. The woolly mammoth coming through the pass there. And, you know, that guy's getting ready to piss it off, and that guy's getting ready to piss it off, so who knows what's going to happen there. And, you know, we come back all the way around, and that's the scene. That's the lowdown. That's what's going on with this. With the original box in back and Magic Marxie looking on. Okay, we're going to let the Pteranodon fly back, aka the camera, and a light. So, there is a look at the Marx Prehistoric Times 3398 playset from 1963, complete. Except, I mean, if you wanted to be a stickler, this would not be complete because I only have 2 of the clips, which you can tell I don't even use them because they're not necessary. These clips are almost never found with these sets. Just finding the clips alone is kind of a big deal. So technically, it doesn't have the 4 original, but it does have the sprue, so that's kind of an unusual thing in itself. Other than the 2 missing clips, this thing is complete, including the hard-to-find original booklet, which we will revisit for a second here. To reiterate, they redid this set again in 1971, which was 8 years later, with a newer plastic. Some collectors call it heritage plastic. I think that plastic was used for pieces in a series of playsets called the Heritage line or something. As far as Marx go, I only collect the Dinosaur Playsets. I don't know much about the other playsets. I mean, I think a lot of them are cool, especially the war playsets. But I just don't, you know, there's only so much room, always so much money. I just try to limit myself to dinosaur and monster toys. And that's pretty much it. So anyway, I did a video on the 1971 version of this set. You can find it on my channel page. It's the Marx Prehistoric Times 3398 1971. But trust me, it's nothing compared to this set as far as desirability and price. I don't even know what one of these things would sell for now, honestly. And if it had a great box, great condition box, you know, it'd probably be a small fortune. I'm just glad I have this. I mean, I'm not ever going to try to look for any more because as far as I'm concerned, this thing is complete and I'm glad to have it. So anyway, there you go. That's a look at the king of the Marx Dinosaur Playsets. See you later.